Hey there. Today, let's talk about Congress. I'm working on a longer video about the 535 lawmakers that we elect to represent us. But today I want to talk about the elephant in the room. The second name we can't stop hearing, Mitch McConnell. With 535 members of Congress, why does it seem like only one name matters? So let's talk about it. So you don't have to go back and rewatch Schoolhouse Rock. I'll give an extreme Cliff Notes version. All bills wanting to become laws need to pass through the Senate. There's essentially no bypass or workaround. The Senate is the great goalkeeper for new laws. So it doesn't matter what New Deal for all the squad in the House wants unless the Senate's on board. And Mitch McConnell, as the Senate Majority Leader, sets the agenda for the Senate. He picks and chooses what gets debated, what gets a vote, etc. The surprising key fact is this: there's no rule that requires a piece of legislation presented to the Senate to be debated or voted on. They can just park it on a desk forever. Mitch McConnell simply does not act on legislation that he does not like. In fact, he calls himself the Grim Reaper, the guy who's going to make sure that socialism doesn't wind up on the president's desk. Frankly, it's a fitting nickname since his inaction has contributed to the more than 300,000 American coronavirus deaths. What's that? You don't believe he or the government could have done anything about COVID-19? So go check the stats from around the world. Compare America to the countries whose governments took coordinated action instead of politicizing the public health measures and prioritizing the economy. I'll wait. Okay. McConnell apparently learned his superpower, not making laws, in 2016 after conservative Supreme Court Justice Scalia died. McConnell refused to allow President Obama's nominee, Judge Merrick Garland, a confirmation hearing. If you're wondering where your favorite bill is that you've been waiting on, chances are it's one of more than 400 or so that's sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk, waiting to never be acted upon. Mitch McConnell's kung fu grip on democracy is exactly why we can't pick up a phone, turn on a TV, scroll a browser without being bombarded with Georgia, Georgia, Georgia. So much Georgia. The Georgia runoff election between incumbent Republicans Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue and their Democratic challengers, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, who you should definitely be voting for if you live in Georgia, if only because they're not wealthy crooks who profited off the pandemic in the earliest days instead of using their legislative power to take care of their constituents. You know, insider trading like Loeffler and Perdue did, allegedly, but I digress. All right. Getting both Loeffler and Perdue out of the Senate is the only way to break Grim Reaper McConnell's death grip on the legislation we need to help Americans stay on their feet during the pandemic, to get the government working on the public health and economic initiatives needed to recover from the pandemic, and to, and I can't stress this enough, tell everyone around the globe that American elected officials work for we the people and are expected to pursue our best interest and not their own. The world and our own citizens need to understand that American leaders are expected to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This includes not supporting fascist power grabs, no matter how inept, and that we will hold them accountable for their actions and their failures to act. Support Ossoff and Warnock to help clear the Grim Reaper's desk and to get rid of some really vile crooks who've been using their Senate seats to cushion their bloated wallets, allegedly. A longer video is coming with a history deep dive into the U.S. Congress, and I promise we'll talk about how the 3/5 compromise is involved. We'll even mention that Article 2 that nobody ever talks about. So subscribe to get notified. Until next time, be safe out there. It's a beautiful and dangerous world.